So good morning, and yeah, thank you. It's really nice being here. For those who don't know, I'm Filipe Leitão. I'm sales engineer at RingCentral as part of the GSP, that's the Global Service Providers division. It's really special for me to be here because very few actually know I started my career here in Aveiro, working for a company that I think already changed the name like twice. It used to be called PT Inovação when I was working here. I'm here with Phil Doughty, that's my boss. I convinced him to come here based on the weather, but I think I told him to bring a jacket. He didn't want to believe in me. He told me, I'm from Manchester, I don't need that. but yeah, here we go. So one of the things we want to talk here is to talk about programmable telecom, obviously, and we want also to talk about how programmable telecom is shifting the paradigm from voice to workflow management. What is RingCentral doing about it, and how is that actually lifting all efforts there? I mean, RingCentral has been mentioned a few times already in this morning, for good reasons, for bad reasons, depending on how you see it. but also just a very brief overview of who's RingCentral, because not all of you might be familiar with the company. This is our motto: deliver simple communication through our connected experience platform. And marketing made me do it, so sorry I had to put the slide here. That's how we got the sponsorship here. Now, there is a deep history of innovation at RingCentral, right? So we started back in the days of 2014 as a simple cloud PBX company, but then we slowly developed more features and became what we are today. More importantly, what I will really highlight is the AI and speech analytics capabilities that we recently added to our platform as well, and also the very strong analytics and quality of service monitoring tools that we have. All of that and all of the other capabilities that you see here on the board as well, all of that can be exposed through programmable telecoms and APIs. That's what we're here to talk about, and what are the benefits that we can bring out of that. There is a new word out of there, so we are now in a hybrid environment, everyone working from everywhere, and also that also brings challenges, right? So we have now people managing workflows in a remote manner, so you don't have to be in the office, but something is happening in the office, or something is happening back in the factory that you operate in. And you still need to act upon that if some trigger or alarm comes up. So there is a new paradigm and new challenges that we need to be aware of. And of course there are new security needs as well. Because it's really nice to have everyone working from everywhere, but you still need to cope with the security standards as if everyone was in the office. So why here? Why now? Why we are having this conversation here at TADSummit? COVID effect is still tangible. So if you look at stats, I mean, it changed dramatically the way the network is being used today. It's putting a huge pressure on the network. I don't need to tell you that, but it also changed the way people approach and expect to use applications. And there was an interesting survey here where people now in the UK actually have a bit bigger expectations than they used to have pre-COVID, like keeping the meeting running or the video conference running while they're in the subway or using trains. So people's expectations change in the way they expect to be using those applications, and there is also a change in the demographics as well. My mother uses more Facebook than I do, like 10 times more. E-commerce was booming during COVID, and it still is, because there were a lot of companies that started doing e-commerce because of COVID, and they didn't stop doing it. And of course, if you do e-commerce, you also need to take care of customer support and so on and so on. So there is a new challenge out there that didn't exist before COVID, and now we need to tackle. And finally, there is a change in the way applications are being used. There is an expectation that more and more contextualized communications are happening, whether you're talking to bots or real people. And not all platforms out there are actually ready for that. So we believe, based on all this, we believe there is still a huge opportunity for cloud communications, despite the economic climate that we feel. I mean, you mentioned previously, I mean, stocks are shit. That's the technical word for it, for everyone, but we truly believe that's a temporary thing to happen, because if you look, and it's not as you said, it's Cavell, it's a Cavell study that says that big markets like Germany, they still observe around 30% of cloud comms penetration in that market. So there is still something between 60 to 70% of growth in those big markets. And I'm just only mentioning Germany because it's one that I keep close to my chest. And because of all that, we still believe that there is still a huge margin for growth. But why do we have the feeling that we are not actually growing that much? Well, if you look at what happened in the past couple of years, and your presentation in the beginning was fantastic because it just gave the motor for that first point over there. There is a lot of consolidation that ended up having, CPaaS companies operating in CCaaS, becoming CPaaS companies, UCaaS also offering CPaaS. So everyone is offering the same thing, essentially. And everyone is operating in the same market as everyone. It also means that when you actually look at the verticals people operate or companies operate in, there are no niche solutions anymore. Everyone is trying to get everyone as a customer base, and that essentially means that it's really hard to differentiate to a certain vertical niche. There is nothing. There's really few solutions that actually operate in a specific niche anymore. And then everyone is using the same channels. It's voice, it's video, it's messaging, it's social media. Everyone is using and offering the same channels. You go to any company, you go to the portfolio that everyone is doing the same. And let's not forget about the elephant in the room. When you look at predictions for voice, you still see Microsoft Teams and Voice for Teams counting as a very, very big chunk for the growth predictions. And if you go to, I would risk saying, any UCaaS company, without saying names, website, you would still see highlighted an offer somehow for Microsoft Teams, which is fantastic because Microsoft Teams is in theory a competitor as well. Is it then a pricing discussion and features discussion in the end, like Joao was mentioning? We don't believe that is the case at RingCentral. So based on all this, we changed an approach and we starting bringing the focus back to solving problems, but the focus back to people, where people have needs, people have issues, companies have issues and workflows that need to be sorted out, and we don't think that just dumping features to solve those needs it's the way to go. So we brought the focus back to solving those people's workflows, and we set the motto that we wanted to help somehow increasing productivity and ensure consistency on whatever that is in production or whatever across the board. And we're doing that by establishing and offering a development framework that is offering APIs, SDKs, low-code solutions. And we put that at RingCentral, we put that at the same level as the UCaaS, as the traditional UCaaS and CCaaS solutions that you would also find as part of the portfolio. So we brought programmable telecom to the table, and we think it's important enough to be at the same level as the other solutions we have. And of course that means that we're also investing as much or as the other solutions as well. This is just a summary of the developer tools that we have, the public developer tools that we have. You would see that we have the traditional user-to-user or customer-to-service communication tools, offering messaging communication, video communication APIs, voice APIs as well, business as usual. But where we think that it's really, really important to differentiate is also what we do in the backend, how we can integrate with what APIs we offer to integrate in the backend of our customers and partners to be deeply integrated into those workflows, and also in their own workflow systems, workflow manager and orchestration management features as well, systems as well. There is a set of APIs that you will not see here because they are exclusive to partners as well, but this is not the only thing we have for in terms of programmable telecom. There is a bunch of APIs that are not public because they are exclusive for our partners and customers, so you will not see them in the public portal. But if you want to see what other APIs we also offer, you can also follow that link over there. APIs open door to collaboration. It was pretty obvious for us, and because of that, we created two, not divisions, but I would say two projects at RingCentral. One is called Global Service Providers, where we look at partnering with network operators and how we can complement to each other, and also multi-sided partnerships. Multi-sided partnerships is trying to fill RingCentral feature gaps by bringing what others are doing best in their field and not try to reinvent the wheel when we focus in solving the people's problem. So, and again, the focus is really solving people's problems. And if you look at how is the best way to solve people's problems, you need to have the best framework, but also the solution set to solve that problem. It doesn't really matter if you try to convince that person that your solution is great and will solve everything, if in fact it doesn't. So these two projects essentially are here to partner and to listen to people to complement the gaps that we cannot do ourselves. So at GSP, Alan already mentioned this project was launched a year ago. At GSP, we launched a project called Rise. With Rise, we are working with network operators so they can offer RingCentral cloud communication solutions for message, video, and phone. But also, on the other hand, what we expect as well is to share resources from the two companies that are partnering. We have co-innovation activities, so it's not only about a reseller problem. We actually co-innovate together with our network partners on how to approach the market differently and what solutions do we need to develop next to approach the specific need in that market. How can we integrate systems in the end to create a new experience that will solve our customers' problems? It's about putting people back at the center of this equation, right? So we have RingCentral as a cloud communications facilitator, and we would have the network operator on top, filling that network transportation gap, and maybe more than what it is. It's not only about technology either. If you think about it, most of the network operators have been here since ages, and they are the ones who actually know the customers and the small medium business better in the region they operate, right? So it's just obvious that these kind of partnerships make sense. It's just a few examples of the partners that are already working with us at the GSP level. You might recognize some brands. And that the multi-sided partnership is where we, as I mentioned previously, is where we're trying to fill the gaps of our own product. So it's just stupid to think that we will have the solution that would cope every customer's needs. So there will always be a specific need that we will not be able to do, and for that, what we want to do here is to bring partners that can work together and create a unique solution in the end of the day, potentially create automated workflows that will solve all our customer needs. There is a NAP gallery that you can actually follow where you'll see examples of many companies that are already partnering with us in that sense and develop their own solutions to do it as well, integrating it with us. There's just a few examples of some of the companies that are already working as part of this project. And again, you will find here specific solutions that go to regulated communications, to advanced call recordings, etc. So we actually do some of the stuff they actually do as well. But we know that for very, very specific needs, a customer will will have a need that we cannot fulfill. So it's good to have this partner here to do as well. And again, multi-vertical, right? So you'll also find partners that also just operating at outbound sales and things like that. This is just a few examples of references that we got from both partners and customers that used our APIs and to automate their workflows. Filipe, for instance, it operates in highly regulated markets, so they just came in to complement that gap. But you will also see some retail shops that were able to completely automate their e-commerce workflow by using not only the communications tools that we offer, but also putting the APIs in the back end to automate a bunch of the stuff they actually do in-house. And the APIs are really simple to use, so they are not really complex. The proof is that I can actually work with those APIs, and I, by no means, I'm a skilled developer. This is just an example of something that I did, like playing around with APIs at home. I mean, everyone here with kids knows the challenge that is having conference calls with kids banging the door because they don't give a crap. So the solution I found essentially was to integrate my RingCentral application with my home-based Lightning system. So I have a Philips Hue Lightning system at home. I just create a very simple Node.js middleware that monitors my RingCentral presence using our APIs, and then it just interacts with the lamps to switch the lamps from white to red every time I'm on a conference call. Did that solve the problem? No. He still doesn't really give a crap. Now he actually does on purpose because he likes to see the light switching. But in any case, it was a fun build. You can actually find it on my GitHub page, and there is actually a video that you can, a YouTube video that you can watch working. So to wrap up, it's no longer a feature-rich conversation, as I mentioned. So what we really want to do is to start having conversations where we try to solve people's problems. And we can only do that by creating an ecosystem of innovation, an ecosystem of partnerships with like-minded people and companies like the ones here in this room. So we are here to listen, we are here to learn, and to connect and talk to you, and hopefully grow together. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.